cutout on this neck. I've got the vacuum running, so it's noisy. It's going to get noisier. We have a neck. It's pretty blocky, square, a lot of work left to do. We've got to do a dovetail, we've got to round it and shape it, and get it all finished. Coming back soon. I'm going to cut this bevel angle on this neck. You probably can't even see it. Got to go this way and this way. And I've set the bandsaw at the proper angle, and here we go. Noisy. Surface. Now it's just a matter of rounding. I've got to bevel this in and curve all these surfaces. So most of it's going to be handwork, other than this dovetail, which I'll end up cutting that with a router. Neck is getting closer.
Still can't see it.
Set up to route this neck freehand. Gotta be a better way to do this. I'm sure they have jigs somewhere that somebody owns. But I think I've got the router bit set and the router drawn, the pattern drawn. I can't talk. All right, here we go. It's a monster router. I should have brought one of my small lightweight ones. I forgot. Here we go. Now I am going to lower the router bit just a tiny bit because this shoulder is not getting cut. And it has to be cut in a perfect plane with this edge because that's what goes against the body. So I'll adjust the router bit and I'll be back in a second. Here we go for round 2. Start this beast up. It's powerful. Jerks out of your hand. hopefully I can. Here we go. Okay, hopefully that'll work. Turn this beast on. Here we go with this monster. Kick on. That router's seen better days too. Wow, that router really got some squealing going on. Well, I don't expect it to fit because I got some bumps in it, but I do expect it to go in. Let's see what it does. Okay, YouTube, I screwed up, big time screwed up. Got the neck finished, that's not the problem. It's not finished, it's rough cut. I still have to round it, but it's all cosmetic and comfort. Mechanically, it seems to be in good shape. I'm not going to assume anything until it's done. Right now, fretboard's done. Bridge is good. Got the top inlay, the back inlay, got the box put together. Cut the slot for the neck, and bingo, you might see some evidence there. It's not the slot. The slot fit the neck pretty good. Not perfect. The problem is the box. In my haste, I made a rookie amateur stupid mistake. I glued the back on the top and the top on the back. In other words, I flip-flopped them. And I didn't catch it until I went to set the neck in the routed slot, and my neck angle was running the opposite direction. Oh, it was last night about 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And I just about had a heart attack. I didn't sleep at all last night, trying to figure out how to repair it, and the only way to repair it is take it all apart, and that's pretty destructive. That's going to leave my neck dovetail. It's got to be turned the opposite direction. Instead of coming in this side, it's got to come in this side. So this piece of wood on the sides is destroyed. I am going to have to put a patch in here. It'll be invisible under the top of the dovetail, but down here below the neck you're going to have a seam on both sides. So to illustrate, there'll be a seam where you can see right there. It won't be much, but you'll be able to, well, you can't see it. Similar to that. What that doesn't cover, and it won't be much, but there'll be a small seam on the bottom here and here. So I'm just sick about it. Wish me luck. I'll record some of the progress of cutting the top and the back off of it. I'm also doing that in a controversial way. I'm using a Dremel tool saw blade. So in essence, I will narrow this top down, the sides down, the thickness of that Dremel saw blade twice, once on the top and once on the bottom. So I don't think that'll be noticeable. Last night in my panic, I got the top loose up here because it had only been glued for about 4 hours, but I broke it, I cracked it, and I know I'll do more of that if I continue that method. So I should have just left when I discovered my mistake, but I couldn't do that. And I didn't sleep at all because I'm worried about it. And worst case, I have a new piece of material for a top, but I don't have a new piece of material for the sides. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, here we go. Wish me luck on my stupidity. I have a new piece of top wood. If I totally screw this up, I will be able to recover. Well, I made it. The memory card died, got full right in the middle of the top cut, so you didn't get to see any of the back cut. Got most of the front cut. I'm very pleasantly pleased how that blade cut. I'll let you go a little closer if it'll focus. You can see it made a very clean cut. Pretty much everywhere, just a light sanding, a little more on the head block, the tail block. Yeah, both of these blocks will need some. Where my problem is on the top, where the saw blade cut, slick as a whistle. Last night, before I had the saw blade, I was trying to get it off. I've never taken a top off before, and I chipped out the top here and here. I'm going to try to get these pieces off and put them back in the top and super glue them in and then sand it flush and get it prepared. For this, I've decided I'm just going to come out here to the wide points of the dovetail and cut it square. Put in a piece. I've marked where the new dovetail is going to go in, and from about this point on, that's how much of the seam you'll see, approximately. About 1.25 inches of the seam on both sides. Up here you shouldn't see that seam, so not my preferred idea, but you gotta punt. And I don't know anything about football, so I think punt is a last-ditch effort, isn't it? So that's what I'm doing. You can see the top where I chiseled it out. It looks worse than it is. It's pretty bad, but it looks worse. I think I can fix most of that. And if you look down here where I used the saw, the top isn't even touched. There's just the slightest hair of the mahogany binding left, and you can barely feel it. It's more appearance than it is anything. I will sand that off down to the bare wood again. I've got a little chunk right there. But that worked out well. And on the back, same situation. I cut it all the way around, so it cut very slick, and in places you can see a little bit of the mahogany. I had it set perfectly to the thickness of this, so thank you, Lord, that it worked out as good as it did. All right, I'll get back with you whenever I'm putting stuff back together. Okay, I am set up. I am set up to do the last destructive part, to cut this neck block out and make this seam. Cut the old dovetail out. And once I get that done, I'll slice this off the back and then finish it by filing and sanding all the final bits and pieces. So here we go. It's gonna get noisy. Dust collection. Bandsaw. There's the inside. I've got to take a chisel and clean these off, get them flush with the sides. Then I can put my new block in and piece my piece in it. Oh, I am suffering through it. Going all the way around. I went around with chisel and got the big chunks off. Now I'm going around with sandpaper and sanding it down to nothing. And a razor blade and scraping it off. It is tedious. I won't make you watch much of this. But I'm paying for my mistake. I won't forget this one. Top, back, I mean. I'm gonna do the same thing on that. No sense in you watching that one. Oh, finally. It is like 3:30 or 4 o'clock. I started at 7 this morning. I had to make a run to Menards, but just now getting this put back together. Got an 1.5 inch wide piece in here, cut the sides, got everything matched up, got my block, and I'm gluing it up and gonna clamp it. Let me get some clamps together first, and I'll bring you back. I am in the process of trying to glue the edges of these pieces. Flat, this block. More glue is better. Sure it's on there good and heavy. Around. while the new neck block is gluing up and drying, I'm going to turn my attention to the neck. And it is rough. From the center, and a lot of grinding out of this, so I won't bore you with a couple hours of doing this. Well, it has been an hour and a half or so, and I'm down to on the neck, hand sanding here to try to get it smooth so that I can see how it feels and how it fits. Right now I think it's pretty doggone good. I haven't touched this end of it yet, simply because I want to get it fitted on the guitar before I start messing with this. I've had enough problems with this area. So I still got a bunch of shaping and finishing and polishing to do. Let me finish buffing off this little spot here. Alright, there you go. That's the peg head. And there's the back. See, I've got that alligator texture on the back of the neck to match the back of the guitar. Had to really be sure that I got the grain pattern correct, going out at an angle, this way and that way. All right, well, it's been an hour or two, and I'm considering going over there and unclamping the neck block and getting it turned over. I'll probably wait till after dinner. I'll take a dinner break and eat something, and then come back and do the top again. I mean, it's 7 o'clock, 12 hours straight up to get back, not quite back as far as I was this morning. Although I did get the neck finished. As far as I can go with it until I mount it in the body. Here's a picture of the neck. I sprayed a little lacquer on it, or shellac on it, just to show the color. And it'll show the figure in the neck too. This portion of it obviously is not finished. Once I get it mounted in the neck and the body, then I will finish shaping that to make sure that something I'm not forgetting. Today is Wednesday, January 3rd. See you tomorrow morning, Thursday, January 4th.
Good morning, welcome to Pappy's house. It's Wednesday, January 4th, 2024. I'm in my brother's workshop, Rosa String Works, Jerry Rosa. Now I can see the camera. These are close-up glasses. And after a catastrophic screw-up of gluing the back and the front on the wrong sides of the side, on the opposite sides they're supposed to be, got it taken apart yesterday and everything repaired, and I glued the back on. I'm going to take it out of the form, put the front on, the top on, and then hopefully this afternoon take it out and get caught back up to where I was yesterday. At least I thought I was yesterday. So here we go. see if I can get it out. I'll have to push it out from the back side. Whoa! It came out all at once. Tried to get away from me. Good thing I had the wax paper on there. That would have been a mess. I want to show you the patch I made where the old dovetail joint was connected. It's in there. I'm sure you can see the seams, but they are minor. In the camera I can't see them. I'll zoom in super close if it'll focus that close. And it's 1.5 inch wide seams. And the neck's going to cover 90% of it. Well, I don't think it's going to be that bad. If it is, I might cover it up with some bling decoration or something. But I think it's going to be fine. I'm very happy with it, the way it turned out. Oh, I forgot to turn the camera on. I was in such a hurry to get this thing. That's what got me in trouble the first time, was the hurry. So, but I did take my time and get this thing straightened out and clamped down. I think we're in good shape for the shape we're in. So this has got a set and I've got a break. I might be able to work on the neck a little bit. I can maybe cut the fingerboard to the right width and get it to fit the neck a little bit. Do some odds and ends. And I need to let this sit for several hours at 9 a.m. So by noon, I might take it off and start routing the bindings on the back. I'm going to trim the fingerboard to fit the neck. I'll show you the difference in the thickness. Down here it's significant at the peg head. Or if I hold it to one side, that kind of highlights how big it is. And then up here it's not so big a deal. But it has to be centered and then tapered on both sides to make it match. Okay, pencil marks are hard to see on that ebony, but it is centered and it'll be tapered. Move to the bandsaw. There, the furnace kicked off, so it's not so noisy, but I'm going to make it noisy real quick again. See, good, I got a good reflection of light coming from back there. Dust is on and gonna get noisy. Okay, got the fingerboard cut to the width of the neck, and it's rough, it's a little wavy, it's not perfectly smooth, and you can see that the edge of the fretboard is, if you maybe I get it in the right angle, you can see how rough the bandsaw cut is. Just a 1/64 wider, which is perfect because I want to file it to the curve of the neck and make it work. And then you probably can't see it, but there's a little score line on this peg head overlay, veneer, that will get cut, and that's where the nut goes. I left it long to be able to butt the fretboard for exact positioning. I've got some curly maple here, quarter sawn. Well, it's flat sawn for the board, but on the edge it's quarter sawn. And you have to look that up if you don't understand how that works. But I don't know if you can see the figure in that edge, and you can see the little dots from it being quarter sawn perfectly. I'm going to make some moldings, bindings for the guitar. Dust collection is running, and we're ready to cut. Make sure I got the right side. Alright, I'm going to go sand this edge smooth, make another cut. Okay, we're at the thickness sander, and we have one smooth side and one rough side on this. This is the cut side. This is the reason I sanded between each cut. So I can take all four of these now and sand them all at the same time to get them all the same thickness. I'm at 86 thousandths. Yeah, pretty consistent. Yeah, let's see what I'm at now. 81 and a half. 82. Go through another pass. I have four pieces that are sanded to 80 thousandths thick. They are too wide, so I'm going to go back to the bandsaw now and rip them to width. You can see to make molding, it requires a lot of labor. Each of these require 4 cuts, or 2 cuts, and thickness sanding and the final edge sanding. Okay, here it is noontime. Just a few minutes before 12. And I'm going to take this thing out. Pray I didn't screw it up this time. Got some braces inside here to help hold it in place. Got one long one that I'm going to have to cut to get it out. Check. We got a good square angle here. Hallelujah. Perfectly square. Thank you, Lord. And as you can see, I have it rigged up. I have the dovetail marked. I've got it clamped with old wood screw clamps, which are clamped to the table saw table. Here we go. Turn this beast on. Okay, it's always something. I ran out of battery. Got it plugged in now. Trying to get this all fitted and set. I hope you saw some of the routing. I'll know whenever I go to edit. Getting closer. There's no sense in you watching this. I'll be here for another hour at least getting this all straightened out. So I'll bring you back when I get it fitted.
Okay, I don't know how long it's been. Been a long time, but I would say it's over an hour doing this. And I believe I've got it where it needs to be. One more final check. Make sure we are flush. Check the neck angle, that's too long. Use the level. I think we're just about right, 3/16. Check to see if it's centered this way. Oh, it might be off a 32nd. Oh. Passed that with flying colors, got it. Still a lot of opportunity for me to screw this up. I got to route all around the binding at this late stage, have a guitar, and then screw it up because you messed up the binding. I haven't routed shaped the base of this neck yet, and that was why, because I was filing on it. Okay, I've got the neck all shaped and fitted. And I don't know how close that will focus. I don't have a cap on that, but I'll do that after the fact. And it feels good to me. Okay. Now let's put the clamp on. Putting the binding on. I already started. I routed it out. I'm sorry. I forgot to film it. I'll record it. I'm old. There's no film. Used to do film. Okay, that worked really well, I think. Proof is in the pudding. Let's see what it looks like tomorrow. I routed the first channel for this big binding. You know, for just like I put on the 1/4 inch, but I haven't routed the channel for this little skinny. Okay, I'm done. Hopefully it works. I've got to use a chisel to get into this last little bit. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I've never tried to bend ebony, especially tiny little pieces of ebony. I'm going to try to bend all 4 of them at once. Hoping it won't be quite as fragile. Very rough, but hopefully it'll be enough to get me. Okay, it's Friday morning. Mad rush. I did a late nighter. Got these bindings all put in last night. I didn't leave the shop till 10 o'clock last night. Working on riding in truss rod. And last year I took my saw and ran down it, but I don't have a saw with me. So we're going to try to route it, see what happens. Jerry had a battery-powered skill saw. I didn't record it because I was too nervous if it was catastrophic failure. I just cut some strips in here. It makes nice straight lines. The difference is I've used skill saws for 40 years and done lots and lots of cabinet work. And it is my tool of comfort. I can carve with a skill saw. This still don't fit in there. Yeah, it's too tight. I've been working a lot today, Friday, and I forgot to video most of it. Got the neck on, I got the fretboard on, and I drilled the peg head. I have coated the back and sides with super glue. Heavy super glue to fill in the heavy deep pores of this wood. It's very porous, very deep pits, pores in it. There's a close-up view of the guitar. It brings out the color in it and puts a little shine on it. I have a defect that I found today. This was a little spot earlier, and I had been missing a few of these little stems, walnut stems, that I fixed today. When in the process of fixing those, I started digging on that, and that was a hollow spot. That piece of maple was either bad, or I didn't inlay it deep enough, or something. I'm not sure what the problem was with it, but I cut it out, dug it out, and I'll have to wait till I get home to take care of that. Get my laser cutter and my file back up. I am going to get this ready to route the neck. I've already routed the peg head. I've got to route the neck. I routed up here before I put the fretboard on because you can't get to it, and I didn't want to damage the top. But I've got to route this neck and get the binding in it, and then I'm gonna put some frets in it. Try to. That may be tomorrow. It's already 7 o'clock or so. Saturday morning, January 6th. Day 8 into this build with my 1 or 2 day screw up, having to redo the top and the back. I've got the frets to put in, tuners to install,
temporary string it up with a jig to get the bridge placement, and then glue the bridge on. My first priorities. Then I got some cleanup to do on this binding and this binding, and I will probably put a sealer on the top of this. Not sure how I'll handle that yet. I'll do the finishing at my house. Okay, it's out of the tape. All the bindings are done. It's in very rough form. I'll show you the peg head first. It'll focus on that. And then the fretboard. I still have to build a heel cap for it and a truss rod cover for the headstock. There's the back of the head. I've got a coat of super glue to fill the pores, and I already explained I have a hole in the inlay that I have to repair. There's the back. I'll probably put a feature strip in here when I get home, figure out what I want to do. And again, this is just super glue pore filling. Have some dull spots filled. It needs to be sanded all out. It's rough. Sharp little plane. See if this razor blade's any good. Razor blades make excellent scrapers. You might want to put masking tape around the blade on the guitar side. I pinch it down low so that my fingers drag and it really can't hit the top. Turn it diagonally so I don't fall into the fret slots. This is 240 grit. All the glue and garbage. This is 320. No, I'm not worried about leveling the fretboard or de-leveling the fretboard. You can't even measure what I'm taking off. That's the bad part about sanding this ebony. Is it puts black marks on everything. That black dust is everywhere. I want to ease this sharp edge with the 320. This leopard wood is easy to scrape. It's very hard, but you can see a color change in it. When you sand it, it turns milky, dusty. When you scrape it, it brings out the color, and there's no dust. And it's easy to get a edge of where you're working. My fingers are so sore from doing this for
8 days, 15 hours a day. Not specifically this, but sanding and pulling on that tape. I'll be glad when this is done. This is killing me. Got a round edge on this block. Just increase this sandpaper surface. I'll have to let my fingers heal before I do the final finishing so I can feel the super minor imperfections. Right now I've got them covered with super glue to keep them from bleeding. This really is faster than sanding or any other method. And you develop little lines and ridges, turn your blade 45 degrees and scrape across it, and it will always take the high spots out. Maybe find a way to show this or I won't block your view. Alright, I'm bending the fret wire. This is Jerry's homemade fret wire bender. He built that out on a solid block of aluminum. It's styled after the other ones, I'm sure. I saw one on StewMac that looks similar. But it's pretty simple in its operation. If you're able to operate it. Looks like it's pretty good. I'll pull it back through one more pass. It's a tool that you rarely need unless you do a lot of instrument work. So there are dozens of tools like this. Is why I'm building this guitar at my brother's shop. Otherwise, you don't need any special tools to build a guitar. It's bandsaw, thickness sander, and the belt sander, belt disc sander. They're probably the three primary tools. I never fired the table saw up. An oscillating spindle sander and a miter saw are the other tools that I used. Now that I have a light coat of shellac on it just to keep the fingerprints and the dust from discoloring it. This thing had turned yellow orangey color from sanding the sides. So I sanded it all off and got the shellac on it just to keep it clean. I'll sand 99% of that shellac or 100% of that shellac back off probably for the clear lacquer. Hard to determine which way is the best way for you to see it from that angle, but I'm very happy with it. And I squirted a little on the peg head too. Alright, I'm going to cut the fret wires roughly. Holding them a little long on that side. That's why I can't see. The binding on each side of the fretboard ends the slots. These frets are notched that they go down inside the slots, and then the top of the fret has to overhang that binding, so it has to be notched up and around. This tool does that. You can see that now. It has a notch in it.
compared to the other side. It doesn't have a notch in it.
I've got all of the fret tangs nipped, and they are extra long. Got a block here to support. Some flush cutting nippers. These aren't, luthier specific or instrument specific. They're just run-of-the-mill nippers. Flush cutting. Okay, we're installing tuners. Got a really nice Waverly with snake head or snake wood or something like that. Buttons. Kind of blends in with the wood on the guitar. See if I can, well, I've just about got that over centered. Let me get a little more weight on that. We are getting near to making its first sound. This is a temporary rig to hook strings to. I have a temporary nut, a gigantic oversized nut here. And then I get a string stretch, then I can place the bridge back and forth based on exact intonation. No guesswork involved. No fancy measuring. I get the strings on, I'll bring you back. Got a makeshift bridge. I pulled out a couple strings, a makeshift nut, makeshift, saddle, not bridge. The bridge is a good bridge, but the saddle is just scrap that Jerry had laying here in his shop. I hear a sound. I hear a sound. I gotta back up. A lot of moving parts here to keep all operated. Guess that just proves that I wasn't ready, that I didn't have it. You're seeing this live as it goes. This is just to keep from damaging the back of the guitar. Got a piece of leather under here and a couple pieces there. Harrison sitting there. May have to get a taller saddle. There's this first sound. And it's rattling. So I have to go get a different nut. Fourth time, fifth time is a charm, right? Okay, we're gonna try it. See if I can come up with a tuner. It's nice to hear something that you've made make a sound. Can't reach that tuner. Furnace had to kick on. Come on, furnace, kick off. The furnace kicked off. Hallelujah. Okay, we're right on tune. That is just the tiniest bit flat, so I am going to tap it up just the tiniest bit. That is perfect. That is shown flat also. Oh, my back is hurting me. It's still showing us a tiny bit flat. I think that's a tiny bit too much. Uh-oh. I'll be starting from scratch now. Okay, I'm gonna go turn the furnace off. Okay, no furnace. Woohoo! Very, very close. Okay, I have sat here off camera for 20 minutes fiddling with it, and it's as good as I can get it. The needle wiggles back and forth a little bit on the center perfect tune, and I've tried it forward and backward of the position I have it. This seems to be the very best, and it is just nearly perfect. Perfect as tuning can get. So I marked it. I'm going to double check that I marked it. I'm going to take it off and glue it on. I mean, take it apart and glue the bridge on. I'll never make a cinematographer. I keep forgetting to turn the camera on. I'm in such a one-track mind to get this thing done so I can get home. I gotta let it sit in the clamps for a while. Maybe Jerry will let me take it home with the clamps on it. I got an hour or two of cleanup. And I definitely don't want to take this out of the clamps any too soon. Whew. My caul that I put down there on the inside of the guitar is just thick enough that these clamps will work. I almost had to go get a different, skinnier one. All right. I'm done. Other than setting the guitar up and finishing the guitar. Finishing the guitar is a big job. But I've got a nut in the saddle that I'm going to have to fit. Then I'll have to do a fret leveling and adjustment once I get the strings on it and make sure I get everything. I feel I got a few sharp fret edges. I've got a cap on the bottom of this. I've got to put in my pickup. I got a strap pin. So I mean, there's a half a dozen things. There's 2 days worth of work left there, and several weeks of finishing. But that's easy. Spray coat on, takes 10 minutes, and you leave. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I hope I survive it. I am so exhausted, but it's a good exhaustion. What a satisfaction of knowing that I built this out of boards. And this is my third one. And they're all built out of, in case I didn't tell you the story, they're all built out of the same block of leopard wood. And I cut Joe's out of it, and then I saved this block, and I cut last year, I cut the sides and back for number 2 guitar and number 3 guitar. And I've left these lay in my house for another year. The top woods for the first and second guitar I bought at the same time from Old Standard Wood here in Missouri. This top and another top I just bought, I bought together a couple weeks ago. But the mahogany for the bindings and the neck blocks are all the same block of wood. The walnut, or not walnut, but the ebony for the peg heads, and this binding, and any place I used ebony, it's all from the same block of wood. So 90% of it is all the same. They're sister guitars. When I'm gone someday, it'll be a guitar for each of my kids.